Hi there, my name is Josh Spector. I'm one of the founders here at Product Manager HQ. I'm also the head of product and founder of a software company called Squibbler. And in today's video, I'd like to discuss one of the most common questions about product management, which is, what is it? So what is project management? And as you may know, it is one of the most in-demand fields in the world, and with it, it has quickly become one of the major buzzwords in the business field today, as well as within lots of different tech companies. And companies understand that the time to invest in product management is now, which leads business leaders to ask, what exactly is product management? How is it different from project management? Will product management bring any benefit to my business? And in this video, you'll learn the answer to all of those questions and more. But first, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification button to get direct notifications from Product Manager HQ whenever we post new and insightful videos just like this one. And that way you'll always be first in line to get great content from product management experts. Let's dive right into the discussion. What is product management? As you can imagine, with product management being such a diverse field, no doubt there are hundreds of definitions that you can find, each one with its own unique subtleties. However, in my opinion, there's no need to overcomplicate an already complex field, especially when there's a simple definition that will help us to get a clear understanding of what product management is. At PMHQ, we like to think of product management as a practice adopted by a company in which all activities related to the development of a product are handled. By activities, I'm talking about everything from the conception of a product idea all the way to the launch date and all that comes with it. A product leader, therefore, is someone who is at the center of all these activities, in turn being the person who supervises what is done and ensuring that they are done well. Before we continue, it's important not to confuse product management with project management. In order to illustrate these differences, it's crucial that we first discuss two of the most important and well-known frameworks used by companies to solve specific problems, namely Scrum and Waterfall Approach. Why, you might ask? Simple, each of these frameworks is heavily associated with each of the fields that we're going to be talking about. Let's start with Scrum. Scrum is a goal-oriented methodology used in development that seeks to leverage iterative and incremental practices to help manage highly complex products. Scrum is one of the main branches or subsets of the Agile methodology, a broader framework applied to development that emphasizes iterative, periodic analysis, and adaptation for product improvement. Apart from being an iterative approach to product management, Agile is also recognized for the focus it places on three other aspects of product projects. So we have one, a leadership framework that inspires teamwork while still respecting the importance of self-organization and individual contributions to projects. Then we have two, an approach to product creation that speeds up the design, development, and implementation process without compromising on quality. And three, a business focus that seeks to bridge the gap between company goals and customer needs. This brings us to the second framework that I want to discuss today, which is the waterfall approach, one which is associated with project management as opposed to product management. The waterfall model emphasizes that projects should follow a logical progression of steps throughout the software development lifecycle, or SDLC. Just like the name implies, each phase of the project cascades into the next, progressively flowing down like a waterfall. The main difference between them is that waterfall projects are completely sequential, while Agile projects are completely iterative in a cycle. Waterfall projects can be broken down into several distinct phases. There is an ordered set of phases, and each phase needs to be completed one by one. Phase 2 cannot be started until the previous phase has been completed, and so on and so forth. On the other hand, Agile projects are based on small phases that can happen simultaneously, involving various team members. These individual deliverable pieces are called sprints and last just a few weeks. Once each sprint is completed, the feedback is used to plan the next phase. Therefore, to bring this back full circle, product management differs from project management in terms of the very process and approach used to tackle tasks during a given project. Now that we've seen the differences between product management and project management, let's go ahead and take a look where product management came about. The history of product management can be traced back to the early days of Ford Motor Company. They had a problem with getting their designers and engineers working together on car designs. They needed someone to reconcile the two groups' conflicting goals so that they could deliver on time and within budget. What Ford did was to create a separate role for someone who could get the two groups working together. Thus, the product manager was born. The first product managers were valued for their ability to bring together teams, negotiate between groups, and come to a common consensus for the betterment of the product, a role which still endures in many organizations today. What we have come to recognize as traditional product management is a 20th century version of this model, which has largely stood the test of time. Although it must be said that with the agile development approach, today companies are looking for agile product managers, which simply means a product manager who is familiar with the agile approach. Agile product management attempts to solve many of the problems that exist in the current approach followed by most organizations. Agile product managers value speed, customer focus, continuous planning, and iteration over predictive estimates. A product management framework provides the basic steps involved in a company's product roadmap from idea to launch. There are various frameworks that are being used in the world of product management. Today, businesses are using a revamped methodology for product development, all of which vary based on the product strategy that is being implemented. While this approach varies, usually it contains as many as 11 steps. If you're familiar with project management, then the first 7 steps will come as a no-brainer. You have ideation, research, design, prototype, development, document, and test are all fundamental design and development aspects of any successful project. However, the remaining 4 phases may come as a surprise to many. The first one after the testing phase is known as train. This is a new part of the agile methodology whereby a product team is expected to carry out a series of iterative actions that lead to a tangible result. This result is then released to customers, and based on insight gained, maintenance/upgrades are carried out until the product comes to the end of its life cycle, a stage called retirement. Another innovative and modern framework currently being used is the experimentation approach. Companies like Spotify have employed this framework to great success. The main focus of the experimentation approach is delivering a great product experience over a long period of time by iterating the product aspects to the best possible combination. The focus is not only to deliver a great product, but to do so at minimal risk and operational costs. The framework follows a unique model. During the think phase, teams research ideas, validate problems, and experiment with concepts. This is a high-risk stage, meaning that if a product idea is released without being properly vetted, the probability that it will flop is high. During the build it stage, teams develop their product and test it on a small subset of users to capture feedback. They also spend time assessing the quality of the process and the product. When shipping, companies usually operate with a limited blast radius. They'll release a new product to a small set of users, then they monitor how those people use the product. If the product is a success, they'll roll it out to the entire customer base. If it's a failure though, they go back to the drawing board. The tweak it phase is the longest stage of the cycle. Teams spend a lot of time evaluating the data and making tweaks and adjustments to the product or feature. They also fine-tune the operation to reduce costs and optimize for performance. Another unique approach is a popular one called working backwards approach. In fact, Amazon has been one of the biggest companies in the world to have employed it in their product strategy. To explain here, Amazon starts any new product by explaining precisely what they hope customers and the media will say when they get their hands on it. They don't start by outlining a new product's intended features or capabilities. Instead, they focus on the customer reaction they're hoping to elicit. When a product manager has an idea for a new product or a product feature, they write an internal press release that announces the finished product. No one may have done any development on the idea at this stage. The press release focuses on a customer problem and how the current solution doesn't solve that problem. From there, they explain how their proposal will be the product that ends all products. If a product manager can't write a convincing press release, they scrap the idea. The general rule of thumb is that if the press release is hard to write or difficult to explain, the finished product likely won't succeed. Amazon wants all of its projects to be easily to understand and simple to use. With those goals, it should be simple enough to write a press release that makes sense even without the finished product. Once the leadership team approves a press release, the product team uses it as a roadmap for design and development. Some companies like Typeform use a two-part product management framework. The first half focuses on product discovery, which is a very important step. The second half of their framework focuses on delivery. Discovery consists of identifying problems, brainstorming solutions, and validating solutions with a testable product. Once a feature clears discovery, it moves to delivery, which is made up of three more steps: scope, execution, and measurement. And lastly, iteration. What sets the Typeform framework apart is its unique approach to MVPs. They don't have just one version. Instead, they break the MVP into three parts: the earliest testable product, the earliest usable product, and the earliest lovable product. Their logic is that by breaking down your MVP into bite-sized pieces will help you get feedback and data during every step of the process. That way, you can use a much more measured and testable approach to delivering something your customers want. The next approach to product management is loosely called the customer-driven approach. And I say loosely, as you know, there's not one good product management framework out there that doesn't include some reference to customer research. However, in this framework, the structure of product discovery is tied directly with customer discovery more than in any other, in turn being based on three main pillars. So you have user interviews, sales interviews, and data usage. Product managers spend a lot of time talking to users and listening in on sales calls. The goal is to get the most in-depth understanding of your users as possible and to use all of this information to develop the best solution to address each problem area. Before building anything, this framework urges product managers to put themselves back into the customer's shoes one more time, then review their potential solutions to try and understand if it's the simplest solution possible. Companies like GoGoVan have pioneered this framework. Before GoGoVan spends any time building a product, they define success metrics which must link back to the single objective for their team. Defining these metrics is important as it avoids any instant reflex reactions when the data starts pouring in. A basic product management workflow follows the same few steps. First, your goal is to try to figure out what problems customers or potential customers are having. Problems lead to opportunities. The more problems you identify, the more product opportunities you'll discover. As you work more and more with a particular product, your understanding of it will grow, and so will your view of how each problem is interconnected with the other. What's more is you'll be better at judging what is the best product solution to bring to the market. With a bucket full of problems, you now need to make choices and prioritize according to your needs. This is the creative phase. You are likely to get things wrong at first, and that's okay. Once you're confident that the proposed solution will address the problem, then it's time to build. This is when the team begins to work through the requirements discussed and documented in the solution phase. At this stage, the product manager can leverage their project management skills to guide the development process. After all these steps, you would have either fully completed your product, feature, or MVP, or have accomplished a first milestone in a larger product. In either case, you will be ready to launch it even if it's for a small group of users. As soon as a few users begin to experience your new product, you'll then be able to get feedback and measure product impact. Let's take a look at the main responsibilities of a product manager, starting with customer research. This is one of the cornerstones of any good product strategy, and it's a manager's job to both lead the product management team's research efforts and to also conduct their own research on a higher level. One of the primary requirements for any product is its ability to solve an actual problem for the user. That's also one of the qualities that make it a good product market fit. While conducting research, product managers carry out tasks that permit them to gain a comprehensive understanding of the immediate and expanded product market. They will also be charged with creating user personas based on detailed analysis of user stories and typical use cases, and will also analyze competitor strategies and product approaches in an effort to better shape their own product vision and overall approach to development. Another key role for a product manager is to develop a product strategy. The strategy behind the product is as important as the quality of the product, if not more. A strong product strategy involves considering the space the product fills in the market, implementing features that allow the product to address customer pain points, and instilling optimal functionality in the product. While developing a product strategy, product managers use the product-specific industry knowledge they've accumulated to decide how the product should be developed while creating practical product objectives and goals. Any product management process needs a complete and coherent plan that dictates which activities are to take place at what time, how they should be carried out, and who should be in charge of what. This is called backlog grooming, which refers to the maintenance of the product backlog and its corresponding product roadmap. Depending on the company, either a product manager or a product owner will be the one in charge of this aspect of product management, ensuring in turn that there is a steady and easy flow of communication between various members of the product team. They must also meet with investors, executives, stakeholders, and team members to clarify doubts, unify vision, and make sure to handle possible conflict to ensure that everyone is on the same path for product creation. Once a product has exited out of the strategy phase and attained the go-ahead from key stakeholders, product management then goes into the development phase, which will involve the product leader being a cross-functional figure for on-point operations and development. This entails providing support to team members where necessary, gathering and implementing actionable feedback between teams, and also managing the product lifecycle. After the launch, product management also entails analyzing both customer and market data in order to facilitate future product iterations. This will involve activities such as soliciting direct feedback from prototype users, carrying out pre-launch testers, and setting realistic product expectations with developers. So there you go. That's all for today's video lesson about product management. We looked at how companies have used different product management frameworks to launch successful products. We also spoke about how diverse and critical product leadership roles are. I hope that you've learned more about product management, and now you know what to expect if you want to pursue a career in product management. If you'd like to know more about this field, we at PMHQ offer different specialized courses in product management, everything from technical PM to product ownership. Make sure to go ahead and check out the link in the description where we go ahead and list those different certification courses so you can level up your game. And before I go, I'd like to test how closely you've been listening to the video today. Here's our question. What are the main disadvantages for employing the traditional waterfall approach in an agile environment? Let us know in the comment section below. If you haven't done so, be sure to like and subscribe to our channel. And I'll go ahead and catch you in some of our future videos. And I wish you the best of success in your career journey. Cheers.